Mama Rita trouble is a little different than my mother trouble. My mama trouble is a beating.
Yeah.
And she gone about her business, do her thing. Mama Rita trouble is a talking to.
It's two different ways to approach
Yeah,
it.
because Mama Rita now is like my dad talking to me. So Mama Rita is like dad.
Yeah.
She's the
Like
she's the gongites. She's the gongettes.
Gotcha.
If there's Bob Marley,
Mm-hmm.
it's Rita Marley.
Yeah.
If there's the gong, she's the gong S. Like,
fire.
That's like,
And I've never heard that before, just so you know.
Yeah.
She's
So
the
for
real
you
deal.
to speak of her like
Oh,
that.
she's a real deal.
Highly.
Yeah.
Oh, she's a real
Yeah.
deal. Oh, she is a real, that running stuff. That
real.
running stuff we talk about.
Yeah.
She was the one running us. She's the one running with that on the beach. She's the one that continued that. She is the one. He's the one that moved to Africa and Ghana and established. She is the real deal.
Shout out to her, man.
And that's why all I brothers and sisters, mothers, and everyone have to hold Mama Rita on that level because she is like, because remember, you know, there's father and mother, but this has nothing to do with that.
Okay.
This is about Zion. This is about Rastafari.
Right.
This is about the principles. So my father's principles are same as her principles.
Right.
You can't separate. That's like the God principles. She's the one that introduced us to the Ethiopian Orthodox Church.
Okay.
Of course, she's the one that was there when Haile Selassie arrived in Jamaica in 1966.
Right.
She told my dad about Rastafari.
Right.
And my granny. Isn't it? So that's Mama Rita. So when she said yes,
that's a message. I heard one. That's the message of
Message.
So when Mama Rita said yes, that's what his father would want. She already know how terrible I was as a young boy in regards to my aims and goals in life. I wanted to be a soccer player, but I also want to be a gangster. Like I admire gangsters. Like I told you, I admire the elderly people.
Yeah.
I always admire the bosses.
Yeah.
So I used to roll around with one foot of my pants chopped off, like gangster. I thought I was gonna be a gangster. So they had to get me out to Jamaica as a young boy. When they got me from Jamaica, they brought me here to Miami. Now when Mama Rita, we did that. My granny came down and organized my papers. My mother had to sign me over to my granny so she could adopt me. My grandmother had to adopt me. My father's mother adopted me so I can come to America. If not, I wouldn't be able to come to America. So my mother had to kind of sign me over so I can leave Jamaica.
Before you go past that, again,
You said the journey, right?
No, I know, but we can't skip over pivotal moments.
Yeah.
Your mother is a young mother. So I have first part of my question is this.
You have to bless her up, give thanks for her because
that's why
she had the courage.
This is where I'm going with it.
She wanted what's best.
Right.
She wanted what's best for her son.
There we go.
She didn't get.
There we go.
She wasn't like. No, she's a great woman, man. Like,
and that's exactly where I was going.
She really loved her son, but not her son. She loved Bob's son.
Okay.
Let's break that down.
That's a little different.
That's a powerful statement, bro. That's a powerful.
But that's where I was going because she's a young mother and she did that.
To be more like his father.
Okay.
Not like the mother.
Okay.
She wanted to raise a lion, not a lioness. But in order to raise a lion, you have to follow your father's ways. I mean,
that's right.
I mean,
you said that about the
lioness can nurture you, but I mean, she can't teach you how to walk.
That's a fact.
You can learn from her how to use the bathroom.
Right.
You certain things you can't learn from your mother.
Yeah.
Naturally, by observing your mother, there's things you can't learn from her as a man.
So we have that conversation all the time.
Yeah, especially
right? As fathers.
I mean,
right? As fathers with boys. We have that conversation all the time.
But as fathers, is a key.
Yeah.
You can be a father without a father.
So that's it, man.
I don't know. I gotta put that. Hold on, I gotta put that up for debate. You're gonna have to, you're gonna have to elaborate on that.
Let's go, baby.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah, that's
How, like, 1 second.
Yeah.
How do you even exist without a father?
Biologically.
Whoa.
Okay.
In order for you to have a father, your father had to lay with your mother.
Right.
Absolutely.
So if your father don't lay with your mother, you don't exist.
Okay.
So you don't exist without a father.
What can I
Without-
But that's
whoa,
biologically.
whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa. Unless you some other type of human being that came into the exactly.
Yeah.
Then you
Test
fucked
tube,
up in
baby.
your mind. Yeah, then that's your problem. Ain't got nothing to do with me. But every man has a father,
Absolutely.
and that's a man. I mean, you're a man, you have a father. You're a woman, you have a father. I mean, what are you gonna do?
But is
No,
it
yeah,
Who
we
cares?
Yeah.
Who cares what your father is? If you have enough balls or sense in your mind to be able to tell your father what he's not, well, you're man enough.
okay?
So if you're man enough to say what your father is not, well, good, you're man enough because you know then. So be a father yourself. So, but give thanks to your father because look at me, right? My father passed away when I was 9 years old.
Right.
What father I had in regards to the physical sense. I had to find my father within self. So don't tell me about father this, father that. I don't then go around judging my father's life like, hey, my father used to, when he saw an ant, he was stepping on an ant. I don't go around stepping on an ant because my father stepped on an ant and I don't want to kill an ant. That's not what I need to learn from. I need to learn from the principles and the examples that my father tried to teach, not my father's faults that I see. I don't go and look at my dad. I don't go and dig up his faults and, oh, my father, you know what? At times, yeah, he slept at 8 o'clock. So why should I sleep? I want to go to bed at 6 a.m., but he went to bed at 8. Well, no, that's not what it is. It's what your father says. The wisdom of your father is the teaching of your father, right? Because obviously, he's going to teach you the goodness of his life. He can't tell you, yeah, he has some, but he still have to teach. If you call him today, he going to say, yo, man, you need to be doing that, and the third, man. Make sure you look after this, man. Your father going to always give you the goodness. Forget about his physical day-to-day being. That ain't got nothing to do with you. What has to do with you is what your father say to you. That's why when you read the good old book, it teaches you, honor thy mother and father. It don't matter what they do.
I got a good rebuttal for that.
No matter what they say. Look, I mean,
but hear my rebuttal. I hear what you're saying.
Go for it.
Hear my rebuttal. And I have a unique perspective of this because my biological father passed away when I was like 8, 9. So let's be clear.
We're in the same boat.
We're not though. But we're not though. Where we're not in the same boat is I only have 2 to 3 memories of my father, and none of them were positive affirmation. Hear me out. Hear me out. None of them were positive affirmation messages. But none of them were you telling me I was doing a good job or teaching me anything positive.
That's okay because you know why? That's your ego. That's
the reality.
That 1 second. No, that's your reality because that's what you think your father should be telling you. You know what you don't say? Man, thank you for giving me life. Father, without you, I wouldn't exist. Man, you probably didn't know these things that I wanted to hear from you. You probably never learned these things. Maybe if you live longer, if I knew you longer, you would have told me these things that I'm asking myself now. Maybe you didn't have enough time to give me the memories that I wanted. But you know what I'm gonna give thanks for you, Daddy? Give thanks for you just giving me life. You know, you ain't perfect. Ain't no man is perfect. But I just gotta give thanks that I'm here today to even tell my children and give my children a longer life, how I can be longer in their life, how I can be a more a presence in their life. Because you know what? When I was young, I didn't have that presence from my father. I did not, but I guess what I do have? I have this life that I'm able to create more life and create my own generation based upon what my father gave to me through my mother. Because no matter what, there was a point when your mother loved your father. So the love that she had for your father is what she needs to tell you about. And those experiences, not what you saw. You didn't have enough time to see. You didn't even know what you were seeing. I mean, maybe.
No, I know.
No. 1 second. No. in your own understanding, but maybe what your father was doing is what he needed to do for whatever desires he had within himself.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's his journey. You got, I mean, shit. I'm a man's a man. What you gonna tell? You can tell. Can you tell your father what he's doing is wrong at that age? You don't know what right and wrong is. You don't learn yet, but now you can. Now your memory can. But what your mom needs to do is tell you about how much she loved him and why, when she loved him so much, she gave him the moment to create you.
Okay.
So that's the give thanks.
I'm gonna tell you right now.
Jump in.
Shout out to my father.
Big up, pops.
My father worked 29 years from 7 in the morning to 11 o'clock at night.
Mhm.
So you talk about the hustle. My pops would sell clothes right in front of Macy's. He's the one type of niggas. Pops, I love you. You know the vibe. And that's the hustle we get. So what I feel with Cuzzo is, right, we have different journeys. And regardless of our parents, we still chose to be him and not them. We chose to have the mindset. We chose to fucking go through the journey. And motherfuckers don't do that. Bro, we are here. If we are testament of that right now.
Facts.
Come on, bro.
Hey, listen.
Come on, bro. Look at the love.
I'm telling you. Hey, remember this, right? Remember this, right?
I love this shit.
Now you talk about your father.
Right.
Pops probably don't even know what a podcast is.
You remember my father? You know who my father is, right?
Yeah.
So, you know what he did between the age of whatever he is till be 36?
A lot.
And so how much time you think I had with him on a day to day?
No, we understand.
Correct.
We understand
So
that.
guess what?
Right.
Guess what? The kings we are today, only a king could build a king.
But
Only a king.
I don't. But see, but are we talking create? But are we talking? But are we talking creation or building? Because technically, my father created me. He didn't build me.
No.
He didn't build me.
He chose to be him.
No, but let me tell you something now. Now you're talking ego. Because why is that ego? Because the ultimate father is the Most High. Your father is just a vehicle.
Okay.
All your father's responsibility was to bring you into this world, and your mother nurture you. But can I tell you something? You know how many children live with their fathers and still don't do what their fathers say? Okay. So really and truly, your father's a heavenly creator. So the little bit of the heavenly creator your father tried to teach you, you got to tap that. So build you, create you. What are you talking about? When you were 1 month old, 2 months old, 3 months old, without breast and milk and feeding and a little bit of learning how to standing up. Hey, when you walk, someone pick you up. That's building you.
But he wasn't there for none of that. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
But guess what though? You may think he's not there for that in regards to a physical manner.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the soul of him, because when you walk, right, man, if you ever remember now, I don't know your that history. I'm just speaking. But remember when you walk down the street, someone said, "Man, you walk, man, ain't you
Yes.
Yeah, so
yes, that does happen.
Yes, so no
absolutely.
matter.
That's
real talk. That's so and so.
What's the name?
You look just like your father. That's a fact.
So he don't got even nothing else.
That's a fact. I can agree with that.
I can. He don't got no matter what. Look,
right.
Hi, Mrs. Marley. Mrs. Marley, I'm sorry, but we had to expel Rohan from school today.
Crazy.
That's my dad's wife she's talking to.
Yeah. Because your mother is standing right there.
Yeah, but I call my dad's wife mommy because that's what my brother told me to call her. I'll tell you, that's another story.
That's right.
Okay.
That's what I call her.
Okay.
So Mama Rita, I call her Mama Rita today, and Mama Janet. Mama Rita, like I said, very instrumental in my life.
Wow.
I heard Mama Rita say on the phone, she said, Mrs. Marley, we have to expel Rohan from school. Mama Rita said, what? She says, no, Mrs. Marley. She says, no, Mrs. Marley. We want to know would his grandmother take him in Miami. I heard her said yes. Remember, this is after my father passed away.
Right.
Yeah.
I heard her say yes. That's what his father would want. My dad passed away like a year before, a year and a half before.
Right.
Yeah.
So Mama Rita, obviously, she don't want them to cane me, because she know they'll beat me. Those fucking teachers, they cane your ass. She says, "Don't worry, send him to me. I'll deal with him."
Right.
Okay, good. You expelled him. Well, send him to me.
Right.
My mother then took me to Hope Road and said, "Son, Mama Rita gonna come see you here. You wait. I said, huh? Because I know when Mama Rita come, I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
But the trouble I'm in with Mama Rita is a different kind of trouble than when I'm with my mother.
Absolutely.
What I was saying to you about kids that live in their father's house and still do whatever.
Yeah.
No matter what you do in life, you are your father's son. No matter what he do,
Right.
no matter what he say, no matter what is. Remember, you have in this world we live in today, right? We live in a material world where we're distracted by our eyes, not by our essence.
Right.
We don't live by our essence. We live by our eyes, and
yeah.
our ears. We don't live like this, and we don't be still and meditate and like go to like your father's father. You see,
Right.
you're stopping at your father, but you got to go to his trauma, because remember, it's trauma, and we as a generation, because your father trauma is a trauma. So we as a generation, we got to cure that trauma. It's all traumatic, because what the experience your father had with you is from trauma itself and fear and being raised to think we're slaves when we're actually kings and rulers. So from your father, if your father ain't burned that out, you're not gonna get this kingship that you're talking about, because you got to go to your father's father, then his father. Then wait a minute, I gotta check this gene. Where did the disruption come in? Where was the disruption?
Mm-hmm.
Where did the disruption happen?
Right.
And you got to start from before the disruption. And that's who we are. And that's who your father is. That's who his father is. And that's who his father is. Because we're really kings and queens in this earth. But you got to go through that. So you can't sometimes they say, oh, the children take on the father's sin. It's not true. The children are here for the father's forgiveness.
Message.
The father's forgiveness.